Yeah, we'll get started. And as I said, we are recording this, so just want folks to be aware of that. Good afternoon for those of you in the Eastern time zone, and for those of you in other time zones, good morning. My name is Aaron Wicks. I'm with the National Community Action Partnership, and I'm really excited to introduce this webinar today. This is a really special opportunity that has come to our network from the AARP Foundation. The AARP Foundation is a part of the AARP. I know everyone's familiar with that organization, and they do a lot of great work to support older Americans in terms of making sure that they have resources, very much in line with the work that we do in community action in general. And I know many of our agencies provide a lot of services to older residents. And so this is a really great alignment of our organizational missions. This particular resource is meant to promote digital literacy and digital skills for folks 50 plus, particularly women and people of color. So a lot of our agencies I think could really benefit from this and make this resource available to our community. So we wanted to bring it to you and learn more about it and how to participate. That's about as much as I can share. I'm going to turn it over to the experts, my friends Mindy Feldbaum and Tricia McGinnis from the AARP Foundation. Mindy and Tricia, take it away.
Great. Well, thank you, Aaron, and thanks for everybody for joining us today, and for NCAP in particular for hosting the webinar. I'm Mindy Feldbaum, and I'm the Vice President of Workforce Programs at AARP Foundation. Today, we're here to share with you some information about this partnership opportunity for an important initiative called Digital Skills Ready at 50 Plus. This initiative for us is being implemented at such a critical moment in time, because more than 37 million adults over 50, 1 in 3 either live or at risk of falling in poverty. During the pandemic, you can imagine millions of older adults, especially women and people of color, have experienced further financial hardship as they've lost jobs or income, while the demand for digital skills in the labor market has only accelerated. We know from our deep experience of implementing workforce programs and from our current research that older workers who are proficient in the latest technologies have significantly higher earnings than those that do not, and are better positioned to compete for today's jobs and in the future. Yet 2 in 5 adults over 50 feel like technology is not inclusive nor designed for people of all ages. And that's why we're really excited about the Digital Skills Ready at 50 Plus initiative that we'll talk about today, which really seeks to provide training to enable older adults living with low income to obtain the digital competence and basic skills to increase their economic security, opportunity, and mobility to get them on the pathway to a good job. With that, for those, the one thing I don't know, Aaron, if you brought this up, and if people have questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to put them in the chat. We're going to take questions at the end. But for those of you that aren't familiar with AARP Foundation, as Aaron said, our mothership is AARP, but we're actually a charitable affiliate of AARP. So we serve AARP members and non-members alike. And our focus is really on the bold goal of ending senior poverty. And we work with vulnerable people over 50 to build economic opportunity. We also have a centerpiece on equitable outcomes for populations that face systemic discrimination. And through our legal advocacy, our evidence-based solutions, and our community connections, our goal is to foster resilience, advance equity, and restore hope. Next slide. As I said, we have deep experience in workforce programs that I oversee. We've been doing it for 55 years or more, and we offer multiple solutions to help unemployed, underemployed, and low-wage workers a pathway to financial security by helping them gain the skills and competency and experience and training to help them find and secure jobs and explore entrepreneurship. The foundation has three major programs. The first is the Senior Community Service Employment Program. Some of you may be familiar with that. It's funded by the Department of Labor. We're the oldest and largest older worker program in the country. In a non-COVID year, we serve about 12,000 participants that are 55 plus with multiple barriers to employment. In a COVID year, it's been about 6,000 or 7,000. But the centerpiece of that program is really paid community service. And so people come into our program, get a full set of supportive services, and are able to gain the skills and competency through paid work experience to get a job. Our second program is called Back to Work. It's been around for about 10 years, and I call it a rapid reemployment program. We work with individuals to provide job readiness training and coaching to build their confidence to compete in today's job market. And we do it through two different service delivery mechanisms. One, we do it through partners throughout the country. And we also have a direct-to-consumer approach, a national online program. The last workforce program I'll talk about today is Work for Yourself at 50 plus. And that we have 30 plus partners across the country. We build their capacity to develop these workshops, to run these workshops that are focused on self-employment, whether it's the gig economy, entrepreneurship, or starting a small business. So the digital skills ready at 50 plus really adds and enriches our workforce programs portfolio. I'm now going to turn it over to Tricia to talk about, Tricia, am I supposed to,
Yes, you keep going.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I thought I was. So with the digital skills ready at 50 plus, we have a partner. We partnered with OATS, the Older Adults Technology Services, which is the newest AARP affiliate. And they're a nonprofit also like us. And they created a brand called Senior Planet, which is kind of their outward facing brand. But OATS has been for decades training older adults in basic literacy skills. They have centers, they have virtual programs and licensing. So we thought this was a nice partnership to be able to deliver training. So I'm going to give you an overview of digital skills ready at 50 plus. First off, as we were able to launch this initiative because we received a generous grant from google.org. And we have a bold goal of training 25,000 older adults in basic technology and digital literacy skills. We also have a focus, 50% of those that we train have to be women and or people of color from low income communities. The initiative will run, it actually started 2 years ago, but the training itself will be about 18 months. And it's rolled out in 8 states, and we also have identified communities. But as far as community action agencies, the ability to do the training is really throughout the state. So these areas we're focused on, probably the majority of partners will be in these communities, but we do have the ability to train throughout the state. Next slide. So to continue the overview, the training is going to be delivered through community-based organization, and that's why the community action agencies are such a perfect partner. Those that partner with NCAP and the community action agencies will be joining a new and exciting network in 8 states that are really all committed to supporting 25,000 older adults through the digital skills training, to secure jobs, change careers, or entrepreneurship. The network's going to be a very vibrant network where we'll have learning communities and things like that. The training will be delivered through Senior Planet trainers. And so those will be live trainers in a variety of formats and curriculum, which Trish is going to go into in a minute. There's no cost to any partner organization. In fact, micro grants are available to support implementation and capacity building. Also central to this initiative is really our evaluation and learning. It's a pretty big part of what we're going to be doing. We hope it informs our own organization's work, your organization, as well as the field. And so I put this, we've been soliciting partners for the last 6 months or 4 months. And we just really thought this was a great alignment with community action agencies. First, you have to have the ability to serve 50 to and up to 200 plus. We have more organizations serving more than 200, depending on capacity over the course of the initiative. We share a commitment to serving older adults 50 plus with low income and the ability to reach, serve, and impact the targeted population. As Erin was saying, many of your agencies serve older adults. You have multi-generational programs and services that would complement digital skills ready training and programming. You also have the capacity to support training and tracking and reporting outcomes. I know many of you receive many different types of grants, but we build the capacity, and the reporting requirements are actually quite minimal. But for evaluation purposes, we do track outcomes. And then lastly, this is what you do. You serve under-resourced communities with the focus of equitable outcomes. So we see this as a great alignment for community action agencies and the foundation. I think now I turn it over to Tricia.
Yes, yeah, thanks, Mindy.
Shirley. Thanks.
Absolutely. So as Mindy mentioned, and you can see here from the slide, we have a large library of curriculum offered as part of the Digital Skills Initiative. And this is just a sample. And these courses are really designed to elevate from foundational skills like all things Zoom to more specific and targeted courses such as the crowdfunding for entrepreneurs for those people who might be interested in starting their own business. And courses range from 60-minute lectures to 75-minute workshops, which are more hands-on, to multi-week, multi-session courses that can run anywhere from 2 to 5 weeks. And these are going to be more extensive and go a little bit deeper into a topic, such as the Workplace Essentials course that you see listed here. Mindy mentioned earlier the Senior Planet trainers, and again, Senior Planet is a forward-facing brand for Oats. But in this model, the Senior Planet trainers are delivering the program virtually to your participants. So your participants really can be together in a classroom within your own organization, or they can also be virtual, or they could be in a hybrid where they are both virtual and in a classroom. So as the training provider, your organization is responsible for providing the space, the technology, and the outreach to participants, and Senior Planet delivers the training virtually to your participants. And so with the Senior Planet model, there is, as I mentioned earlier, specific curriculum that's actually been tailored for this initiative. And it's really designed to help people find and secure jobs, change careers, or explore entrepreneurship. And the Senior Planet instructors who are delivering the trainer, as Mindy said, Oats and Senior Planet they're a recent AARP affiliate, but they've really been around for decades, and they have the experience in working with older adults. Again, we'll have ongoing outcome measurement and quarterly reporting, and we have resources and support available to help you really run effective programs, anywhere from marketing templates to posters to put in your centers to things that you can share with newspapers to get a little bit more exposure for your programs. And here are a couple more specifics about the Senior Planet model. Again, in this model, the trainer is virtual and can deliver the training to participants in a classroom or in a virtual format. You'll need to supply the technology. I mentioned this earlier. An internet connection is a must. And there are also hands-on aspects to many of these classes. So you'll need to have devices, whether they be iPads or Chromebooks. We will definitely make some recommendations for you. And you'll also need to have the classroom space. And we will work with you to be flexible in the scheduling of classes. Again, Senior Planet has been doing this for many years, and they're used to tailoring these programs around the schedule of the organization as well as the participants. And as Mindy mentioned, there are opportunities for funding up to $10,000 based on the number of people you commit to training over the course of this initiative. There are also some additional training opportunities available with the digital skills training, and Mindy referenced earlier the Back to Work program and Work for Yourself program, which are programs that are run through AARP Foundation. Back to Work is a job readiness workshop that helps unemployed workers build skills and confidence to compete in today's job market. And we also have Work for Yourself, which helps older adults explore self-employment options. And so with both of these workshops, we actually will build your organization's capacity to deliver the training. We'll provide the program materials and additional resources. There's also a small micro grant of $2,000 available if you decide to run these programs. But it is important to know that you will need to deliver the training yourself. So you will need to provide the instructor. So as you begin to implement your program, we wanted to share some of the support and resources that the foundation can provide to you. Again, there are microgrants available, and these grants can go towards anything that supports program implementation and capacity building. So it could be, to increase your wireless speed, to buying the technology, the devices that you need. We also, as Mindy talked about a little bit about, we have over 50 years of deep experience in workforce and helping low income 50 plus in their employment and entrepreneurship journeys. So we have the knowledge and the background to help you with marketing and outreach or employer engagement strategies, design principles around older worker programs, and evidence-based coaching. We'll also be developing learning communities for partners. So we'll give you opportunities to share your insights, promising practices, outcomes, and other needs that you might have. And we also offer, through AARP Foundation, a range of other products and services such as tax aid and benefits that you will have access to. And again, learning and evaluation is at the core of this initiative and will help inform your organization, the foundation, and also the field. So here's a timeline of what to expect over the next couple of months if you decide you want to participate in this initiative. If you're interested in participating, we do ask that you indicate your interest by emailing Erin by Monday, August 15th. There is an application process that is a very short application we ask you to fill out. We turn that around within a week. But we will ask you to commit to the number of participants that you can train each month. And then we will onboard you and provide you with the marketing templates and materials so you can begin your outreach while you are in the onboarding process, and you could start training as early as September. And then again, this grant runs through July of 2023. So again, with next steps, if you are interested in participating, please email Aaron, and here's his email address. And if you could do that by Monday, August 15th, that would be ideal so that we can see what the level of interest is from the different partners within the organization. And with that, I will pause and see if we have any questions.
So I'll just kind of jump in. I know folks may be kind of formulating their questions or kind of taking this all in and trying to think about where they might have some unanswered questions. But one thing that occurred to me as I thought more about this during the presentation is a couple of things happened during the pandemic, and particularly as we're sort of trying to emerge from it as a country, and that is that employers are having a lot of difficulty filling positions just all across the economy. And so there's a great need for employees. And there are a lot of folks that have sort of had to rejoin or plan to rejoin the workforce simultaneous with that. And then also in the midst of all that, we've seen more of a shift to remote work. And so my question for Mindy and Tricia is, from the vantage point that you have, I know that you're not necessarily like labor market analysts, but certainly from the programming that you offer and the organizations that you're working with on the ground, are you seeing an uptick in interest and need for programs like this? Because I would think that there are an awful lot of folks who want to kind of sharpen some of their employment skills, particularly for remote work or other things like that. So just wondering if you've seen a particularly high demand in the past few weeks and months.
I'm going to take this question, Tricia. Yeah, so absolutely. I think one thing we know about the pandemic is it accelerated the technology use of businesses, and the need for digital skills has actually accelerated. Even before the pandemic, digital skills and technology skills were needed, particularly if you were in we have a lot of individuals who often, end up in low-wage jobs or unemployed, and they often are more vulnerable to losing their job with the technology changes, or if you don't know technology. This skills training in particular, really ranges for those that have no digital skills or limited digital skills. It's really can be very, very basic. Or if you've been contemplating entrepreneurship or you're running a small business, oftentimes you may not have those digital skills. So it ranges from really basic computer skills, from turning on a computer and learning how to use it, to even GPS and maps, because getting to jobs, most people rely on GPS and phones. So this is really targeted mostly, except for the entrepreneurship piece has a little bit more advanced with payment methods and things like that. But it really does, about 30% of people 50 and over don't have the digital or limited skills. And so this is to really get them on the pathway to better jobs, help them be able to, not be vulnerable to losing their job. And again, there's a bundle in this training that can set you up for remote work, and being able to do that well, from Zoom Essentials to Google Workspace to things like that. So we've definitely seen an increase in skill needs, but also I think with the population that we're focused on, and there is clearly equity issues, because people of color and women have been suffering financially much greater than in the pandemic, as well as those that have higher skills were less likely to lose their job. And although, the economy has changed and there's a lot of jobs and wages have increased, long term, we know that once the economy contracts, if you don't have those digital skills, that for long-term economic sustainability, security and mobility, having those foundational skills are critical, whether the economy is good or bad.
Thank you. And I see that there's a question in the chat from my colleague Amanda at the Texas State Association. She asks, and this is specifically about the program. So I'm guessing that there's a lot of interest in in this type of a detail. So when agencies that are participating establish a training goal, and so maybe they're looking at a goal somewhere in the range of 50 to 200 or more participants trained. Is that a monthly goal, or is that a goal over the entire life of the project?
Tricia, do you want to take that?
Sure, that is a goal over the entire length of the project. So we would like organizations to train a minimum of 50 people over the course of the initiative. But what we're really seeing is, and you could get a taste of it when we were talking about showing that slide with the courses listed. Many of these are 60 minutes, 75 minutes. And so people, might be coming in a little bit on the lower side at maybe committing to 50, but what they're finding is that really the demand for these is higher and they can serve more people because the courses are shorter in length.
For the hands-on workshops, which are 75 minutes, we also have multi-week classes, 2 weeks or 5 weeks. Those do require, smaller classes between 15 and 20. The virtual lectures can be, there's really not a limit. So as Tricia said, based on that, we've seen a lot of people come in, organizations come in over 200 over the course of a year. 50, you can, some people are doing within a couple months. It really depends on how large your agency is, and things like that. And if you have a lot of 50-plus-year-olds already being served, or if you're recruiting them, you kind of have to think through those projection numbers.
Yeah, thank you. And I know our agencies are very well experienced with projecting outcomes and then making sure that they meet those. And I think that's where that question is coming from, because agencies do want to be sure that they are not only meeting the needs of their customers, but also fulfilling the commitments that they've made to funders. So thank you for the clarity on that. I do see a comment from my friend Lionel Wilson in Louisiana, who's a little concerned about the pretty quick turnaround for interest. And I think I know where he's coming from there, because our agencies deal with a lot day to day, and sometimes it takes more than just a quick conversation or some information to really enable an agency to kind of move forward with something like this. So if agencies are intrigued or interested, but maybe need a little more time than the deadline that you've provided, is there some flexibility there for participation? Because it may take some conversation with boards, with staff, with community partners to really determine if this is a good fit. So I'm wondering if if you do have a little more time.
Yeah, we were just, we were again just saying, oh, I'm interested. That's not filling out an application and moving forward, but if at all, there's a process for that. And of course, NCAP will be involved in that. So I think that there is more time. Maybe Erin, you can, after, we can talk afterwards. It doesn't have to be on Monday. If it's a couple of weeks that it takes to really get, and then there's a process. So we don't expect you to turn around an application and start training, in 2 weeks. So hopefully that works.
Yeah, thank you, Mindy. Appreciate that.
You can even just say, I'm interested, but I need to go back. And that will give you just a sense of who's, really serious about figuring this out, yes or no. So might be just helpful.
Right, and if I can build on that a little bit, I think what we're all saying here is, that this project is time limited. So it's not that there's, you know, an urgency this week to try to get something up and going. Because I know our agencies go through that a lot. You know, we hear from a funder or from a unit of government that says, like, you need to do this and it needs to happen, yesterday. And I just want to be clear with folks, on this, in this webinar, that's not the case here. What we're really just encouraging is if there's interest, if there's, some connection where you say, our agency has a really strong program for seniors, and this is something we'd like to explore. That's what we're looking for. Send me an email or give me a call, and let's talk about whether it's a good fit, and then we can talk about the actual process of engaging in this program. But we'd really just like to know where that interest is right now, so that we can then continue to have those conversations and get folks up and going. Because there are funds available, as Mindy and Tricia said, for micro grants to help support some of the outreach, or to support some of the some technology purchases that you may need to make to maybe upgrade your technology classroom or some of the resources that you have. So this really could be a benefit for your customers to be able to access not just those resources, but also the online course offerings that would be provided through participation in this. So I'm seeing another question. This is from Kelly Knepp. Will we have access to the recording to share with others in our agency who may be interested? I can answer that one. Yes, absolutely. This is being recorded on our Zoom platform. Within 24 to 48 hours at the absolute latest, we will have a link sent out to everyone with access to this recording. Please share it with any agencies and any community partners. This is not exclusively available to community action. We want this resource to be available for everyone in our community. And if community action is bringing it to another agency, then that's great. That's what we do. And I'm happy to help make the connection with the AARP Foundation to make that happen. The key here is to get these resources out to folks in the community. So we're happy to do that. And I see another question from Lino. Is the up to $10,000 per agency participation possible funding, or is it just a single funding through the association? So maybe you could just elaborate a little bit on sort of how the micro grants are designed to work in terms of how agencies access them and kind of how they target an amount that would be appropriate for their program.
Well, we do have different levels depending on the amount of people trained. At the 200 plus, it's $10,000. It's quite easy to get the money. You do have to say what you're using it for. We give it up front, so you're not, you can build your capacity up front to be able to do it. And yeah, I mean, you'll provide, I don't even, do we ask them for a budget, Tricia?
Yes, we do.
A budget, but
application.
Yeah, with the application, you indicate what you're doing it for, but you get that up front, and you also, as Tricia indicated, with that, you sign a letter of agreement that has your projection of outcomes and things like that.
And for our state association folks that are on the call, I just want to get some clarification on this. I believe, Mindy and Tricia, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that the micro grant program is directed at the agencies that are providing the service directly to the older residents in their community. Mm-hmm. So it would it'd be specifically for those local agencies that are recruiting the participants and then providing the classroom space, et cetera, to support those activities.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, I'm not seeing any more at this time. Just kind of hang on just another minute, just in case any more come up. But as I do that and we sort of head towards closing, I just want to reiterate for everyone that's participating today or watching the recording of this, that the National Community Action Partnership is happy to be sort of the point of contact for any questions that you have. We are looking to explore some additional opportunities for partnering with the AARP Foundation. So I really think that if we can be a good partner in this initiative, we can talk about some additional opportunities that may come down the road. I do see a question from Jessica McMorran in South Carolina. Are state associations eligible to apply? And I'm going to guess, and I'll kind of take a stab at answering this, and then ask Mindy and Tricia to jump in. I'm going to guess that a state association could apply if they are the provider of the direct services. We do have some state associations in our network that operate programming directly for customers. So Jessica, if your state association, for example, where you're located, or if you maybe convene a program service statewide, and this could be part of that, you know, like maybe you convene a statewide network of offices of the aging or something like that. I'm just coming up with a hypothetical here. If you are the service provider and you would be recruiting individuals and then providing the, you know, like the classroom space and the logistics to make the training available for them, then I believe that yes, you would be eligible to apply. Does that sound right, Mindy and Tricia? That as long as an organization, whether it's a local agency or a statewide association, as long as they're providing the service directly, they would be eligible for participation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Jessica and also my other colleagues from state associations on this call, again, I do want to reiterate that you know, we would love to continue this conversation offline to talk about ways that as a network, our state associations and our national association, ways that we can explore some more partnerships. So if there is interest in this program or other programs potentially for older Americans served by our Community Action Network, I'd love to follow up with you and have that conversation. So if this particular program isn't the right fit, I'd like to explore some other possibilities down the road. So, and I see another question from Lionel. Are there a required number of courses that must be completed by individuals participating? Good question.
No, there's not. In fact, you know, you can have people take as many courses as you want. You can only count them once as a unique individual, but we have a course catalog that we can actually send out. It's quite extensive to show the choices that you have, and there's no limits. You know, when you count your training numbers, it's you know, one time, but we want them to take as many courses as they want or you offer. And the beauty of the Senior Planet Trainer model is you customize what you want to your unique local area, or if there's a critical mass of community action agencies, you may come together with a series of classes that you schedule together and do it that way. The other piece I was going to say that Erin's talking about around, you know, if you have other interests beyond digital skills, I do want to bring up that, you know, Back to Work and Work for Yourself and some other programs that we have are also possibilities. It's just the workshop for this opportunity that integrates with digital skills, but we have, you know, broader programming also. But if we get a critical mass of community action agencies that are really interesting, and we would love to work with Erin and NCAP around building a learning community and really building it out as an entity. I think there's a lot to learn from this and do that. I mean, you have a broader network of the other partners we have that you would have access to and all that. But I think as a learning community, just within the community action agencies, we would love to do that too with NCAP and the state agencies.
So I just want to underscore a couple of points there. One is that, you know, for the community action agencies, we know that the term unduplicated count. So so those numbers that we're talking about, you know, the number of students, not the number of you know, course interactions that occur. So one person taking 6 courses is one person, and that's the key count. But to, you know, to emphasize what Mindy said, this is a great opportunity for our agencies to be, you know, that sort of mini academy for online, you know, skills development, as well as entrepreneurship for older residents. So, you know, so make as much use of it as you can, because the catalog is available. Once you have the person engaged, you've got this whole catalog of offerings that are available at no cost to your agency. This is provided through the grant that AARP has with Google. So, and then the other thing that I just wanted to underscore really quickly, again, for our state association folks that are participating, definitely happy to follow up with you and talk some more about ways that you might be able to connect directly and maybe convene, as Mindy referenced, like sort of a learning community within your state. We know that's a model that works well in community action. And our state associations are really well situated to do that. And so if you think that there may be, you know, a group of agencies within your state that, you know, that maybe provide services already to older residents and might make for a good sort of service provision community, that would definitely be something we'd like to explore. And I'd be happy to kind of facilitate that connection so that you can meet with Mindy and Tricia and their team. All right, I think we're getting close to the end here, so I'll just look for any last questions. I am not seeing any more. So I think we will thank our presenters, Mindy Feldbaum and Tricia McGinnis from the AARP Foundation. Again, this is recorded and available for distribution far and wide. And so particularly for those of you in those focus area states and in those metro areas in particular within those states, we would love for you to make this available to your colleagues in those areas. It's a really great opportunity. And it's not going to be available, you know, forever. We're just talking really about the next few months that this opportunity is available to bring this resource to our residents. So with that, I will thank our presenters and remind everyone that if you are interested, or if you have any questions, if there's anything at all that you want to talk about, if you want to connect directly with Mindy and Tricia, reach out to me, Aaron Wicks, at the National Community Action Partnership, awicks@communityactionpartnership.com, and I would be delighted to make the connection for you. And there's the information. Thanks for putting that slide up. So thank you, Community Action. Thank you for joining us today. And please share this information with your colleagues, because we know that a lot of our agencies could benefit. And we love to help one another achieve our mission. So thanks for all the work that you do, and take care. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.